so I think we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm Suzanne Cox. I am the Program Director of the Master of Science in Biomedical Informatics at the University of Chicago. Thank you so much for staying, and we're so thrilled that you're interested in hearing more about the master's program. I'm going to go through sort of a general overview. We're going to talk about the University of Chicago a little bit. We'll talk about the master's degree and the field of biomedical informatics. I know there were some questions that came up during the panel about differences between biomedical informatics, analytics, healthcare IT. Hopefully I'll be able to answer some of those questions for you. We're going to talk a little bit about the hands-on learning opportunities that happen during the master's degree, and then the admissions process. So at the end, I'll be happy to answer questions that people have, and then Renaissance and I are also always available via email and phone to talk to people who are interested in the program. So you're all here because you know about the University of Chicago, but we'll talk a little bit about why it's such a great place to study. So there's over 2,100 faculty at the university. We have over 200,000 alumni worldwide. We have over 7,000 graduate students. We're home to 3 national laboratories, Argonne, Fermi, and the Marine Biological Labs. You heard Steve from the Polsky Center talk about how they partner with those places around innovative ideas as well. UChicago is a great place for students to pursue their career goals, and also people who have an entrepreneurial focus. As you heard tonight through the panel, the Polsky Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation is a great resource for students. Students are automatically members of the Polsky Center and are welcome to all of their events, to use the resources that they have, which are numerous, and to tap into all of the networks that they have. So these are just some of the things that we like to talk about. So we have education in this area that's through the Polsky Center, but also in the master's degree. Dr. Cow does teach a healthcare innovation and entrepreneurship course. There's venture support, technology and commercialization and licensing expertise, and industry relations. Those all happen through the Polsky Center, but it's also a huge focus of the master's degree. So we have Wendy Erickson, who helps coordinate the event tonight. She's the Director of Corporate Partnerships for the Graham School, and she and a whole team of people help us connect our students with a network of industry professionals around Chicago and also around the country. And that mostly happens around internship opportunities, capstone experiences, but other things as well. And then there's great resources at the University of Chicago for the graduate students. We have an office called UChicago Grad, which supports students across the graduate programs in terms of connecting them to potential employers, helping counsel them through things like CV development, interview skills, presentation skills, communication skills. So it's just a tremendous resource for our students, and they really do take advantage of it. We have a counselor that's just dedicated to the Graham School, and so she knows all about biomedical informatics and has become an expert in sort of counseling students on how to market themselves and really achieve their career goals. There's also great alumni benefits and resources for University of Chicago graduate students, and then once you become alumni, this is just a list of some of the things that we have. So once you're an alumni, you have access to alumni directory. There's all these different kind of networking tools. There's job boards that are just for alumni and students. There's tons of events on campus where different industry partners come in, talk to students. We have programs specifically that are for our biomedical informatics students. In March, we're having an event that we're doing with the Polsky Center and with Booth. Booth Business School has a healthcare interest group, so we partner with them. And our students are working to bring in a number of employers that would be of interest to people in biomedical informatics. And it's kind of like speed dating, where they'll all be at the Polsky Center and talking to each other. And so there's just a lot of different professional development events that you can tap into, both as a student and as an alumni. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the master's degree. So we've hoped that we've put together a pretty rigorous curriculum. We try to combine theory and practice. So theory is very big at the University of Chicago, as you might know, and the Graham School is where we bring in professional studies program students who are interested in more hands-on and professional skills, but we still like to bring the rigor of the University of Chicago teaching and learning to our program. We focus on critical skills and practical knowledge, and we hope that this helps our students build sort of practical skills that they can take out into the workplace. We hope that we've designed it in an effective format. So you can either go part-time or full-time. There's a lot of hands-on learning in the classroom and also with the Capstone projects and beyond. We have small class sizes, so we try to limit classes to around 25 students or less. It's a very flexible format, so you can go at your own pace. You can take 1 class per quarter, 2 classes, or 3 classes. 3 classes per quarter means that you're a full-time student, and you can go up and down depending on what works for you at any given point in time. We have a connected network, as I mentioned. We have university faculty and research networks that the students have contact with. We have a lot of regional and national partners. I think at last count, we have over 300 industry partners in our list that we reach out to on a regular basis around capstone opportunities. We now have a pretty robust group of peers and alumni. We have one of our Get Smarter alumni here tonight. Nishant, do you want to say hello? There, she's waving in the back. And then we also focus on hands-on learning. So we try to bring case-based learning into the classroom. We try to focus on skills and tools that you'll need out there in the workplace and how to incorporate them into your projects. And then, as I said, we have a pretty great system, if I do say so, for identifying capstone opportunities and internships that will help the students get into the field that they want to be in. So I know there were some questions during the panel about, so what's the difference between informatics and analytics, and what is biomedical informatics anyway? So these are the infographics that we've put together to talk about those topics. So within biomedicine, there's a really wide range of content, right? So it starts all the way from the molecular, atomic level of genomic analysis. We move through to individuals and communities and all the way up to population health. And for each of these areas, there's a separate subdiscipline of informatics that has specific tools and techniques that are used. So we teach across this whole range. And we're getting, now that we've been around for 2 years, we have more and more electives and capstone projects available across this range of content areas. And then as far as the range of activities that people do within informatics, I like to talk about the spectrum. So it starts with defining data. So even before you get into the technology part of it, it's all about, what data do you want to collect? How do you label it? What ontologies do you create to name it? Once you have identified that, how do you come up with a solution to collect the data, organize the data, and manage the data? And that's more in the realm of computer science. Once you have it, how do you keep it secure? How do you share it safely? And eventually, how do you analyze it and report out on it in ways that it's meaningful to people? So here you can see that analytics is more at one end of the spectrum, and computer science is sort of at the other end of the spectrum. But informatics addresses all of these disciplines. And within the program, you get exposure to all of these disciplines, although you are allowed to focus more on one area than another. So we also talk about the multidisciplinary aspects of biomedical informatics. And you can see here at the sort of cross-section of each of these main areas of biological sciences, clinical and health services research, and information science, there is a subdiscipline. And biomedical informatics is kind of at the center of all of these. So it's the umbrella that incorporates all of these different disciplines. So we've built the program to appeal to and hopefully train 3 key groups of people, including clinicians. So we have MDs, nurses. We have a variety of allied health professionals. We have dentists. We have people who've worked in rehab, all different kinds of health professions. We have the bulk of our students come from sort of an early to mid-career sort of stage of life, and they've worked in IT or in computer science. Maybe they've worked in research in a lab or for a company, or they've worked in healthcare, maybe in an administrative position or in a business office. And they're looking to make the transition into informatics, and they want this to be their professional degree. We also have a smaller number of recent undergrads who maybe majored in a relevant field, such as biomedical engineering or one of the life sciences. Maybe they have a little bit of work experience, they've done an internship or two, and they want to develop a career in biomedical informatics, and they're looking for the sort of hands-on skills that they can apply to a new workplace. This is just a little bit about the students who we have in the program so far. We have about 50 students at any given point in time. The majority of them are part-time, so about 80% are part-time and 20% are full-time. But we do have people immigrate from all over the country to do the program. We also have people immigrate from other countries to do the program, so over 12 countries are represented. The average undergraduate GPA is around 3.3 and above. It's almost 50-50 between women and men. And the average age is 32, but I think that it's a really wide range. So we have anywhere from 22 all the way up to 65. Going along with that, there's a really wide range of work experience. So we have people who have very little work experience and people who've had 43 years of work experience. And so it's a very diverse group of people who all come together because of their love of informatics. So I'll just talk a little bit about the curriculum. We start off with 5 foundational courses. So you start with an introduction to biomedical informatics, and that's taught by our faculty director, Sam Volchenbaum, who you saw in the panel. We have everybody take a concepts of computer programming class, and what level you take depends on whether or not you've had previous experience. So if you have no experience, you take a basic class, and if you have some experience, you take a more advanced class. You move into applied clinical and research informatics, and this is where you start to really work with data. You start to learn a little bit of SQL, and you do some R and data analysis. And then you do ethics and policy and leadership and management. And those are specifically around biomedical informatics and what the specific challenges are for people who are working on informatics projects, whether it's in a clinical or research setting or beyond. And then through the elective courses, you can really focus in on what your area of interest is. So we have electives in clinical informatics, which would be more like HIT integration and interoperability standards, looking at decision support systems. We have some population health informatics, so we teach population health informatics. We teach GIS, which is geographic information systems. So how do you take geographic information and look at healthcare maps and health outcomes? And then we have a 2-course sequence in bioinformatics for those of you who are interested in more the lab-based side of things and maybe genomics or proteomics. We have both an intro to bioinformatics and an advanced bioinformatics course. As you heard about tonight, we have a healthcare innovation and entrepreneurship class. And then we have a wide range of classes like big data and healthcare. We have a machine learning class that we've just launched. So there really is something for everyone. And in the very first quarter that students start, we have an intensive advising session with them, find out what their interests are, find out what their career goals are, and try to help them pick a curriculum that's going to help them get to where they want to be in their career. So these are just a few of our faculty. We have many great faculty. We have Sam, who's here. You saw Dr. Cow, who's here. Prashila Dalab is the head of health informatics at NORC. Krishna Ramachandran is the vice president of health and data strategy at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Jorge is the director of bioinformatics at University of Chicago. Anoop works with clinical data at the University of Chicago. So you can see we have a wide range of people and people who are coming from industry and have that sort of hands-on experience working in the field. And then we also have faculty from the University of Chicago who bring sort of that rigorous University of Chicago critical thinking element to the classroom. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our hands-on learning and some of the industry connections. So as I mentioned, capstone projects are a big part of the master's degree, and I think this is one of the unique things about our program. We work with students to find out what kind of organization they would like to work with, what kind of experiences they want, and it's very individualized at the moment. So you tell us what you're interested in, we figure out whether or not we have somebody who's doing that. Companies come to us with projects already, and so through a wide variety of ways, we identify a project for you. We have a great faculty member who helps you develop the project, work with the company. He's a project manager at AbbVie and has great experience of putting together project proposals. We also have case-based learning in the classroom, so a lot of times we have sort of real-world examples and real data sets in the class that people work on. We expose you to new programming skills and help you apply these to data sets. As we mentioned, the Polsky Center is a great resource for networking and also learning some skills if that's your area of interest. We have these networking events, we have seminar series like we have tonight, and then we also have specialized career fairs that are aimed at people who are working in data science. So these are some of the partners that the Graham School has for their capstone projects. We also have a master's degree in analytics and a master's degree in threat and response management. So all of our professional master's degrees have capstones as part of them, but these are some of the more biomedical informatics partners and healthcare analytics partners that we have. So I'll just talk a little bit about the application for anybody who's interested in applying to the master's. We have an online application form. It's pretty standard. We have an application fee. We ask people to upload unofficial transcripts for all the degrees that they've done. International students do have to provide a course-by-course evaluation of their transcripts, and they have to take a test of English if their native language is not English. We asked people to submit a personal statement about why they want to do the program, what they hope to get out of it, and what their goals are. We asked for 3 letters of recommendation, and usually I advise applicants that it's great to have a mix of academic and professional letters if possible, but really you want people who know you personally, know your skills, and know why you'd be well suited to go on and study in this field. We asked for a current resume or CV. We don't at this time require any standardized test scores. So our next application deadline is February 23rd for anybody who would like to start in late March. And then people who are interested in starting in fall can apply February, May, June, and July. So we have kind of pseudo rolling admissions. It's really not rolling admissions, but we have a lot of deadlines. Although we do try to keep the class size small. So I would encourage people who are interested in applying to apply to one of the earlier deadlines if possible, because we will fill up for fall for sure. We have a lot of interest and a lot of applications. So somehow this didn't work out, but this is me. And Renaissance is somebody who you will interact with if you write to our email. And if you're interested in applying to the program, she is wonderful, and she knows all the students and has helped every single person apply, get enrolled, and then register for their classes. Okay, so that's it. And I'm happy to take any questions that people have.
So that's one question. And the other one is, out of the 50 students, how many take the entrepreneurship class?
Yeah. So, the Capstone interest is really across the board, I would say. We have a lot of people who are interested in going to work for big companies, and we have a number of big companies in Chicago, which is great for us. So, I feel like we're perfectly positioned. We have contacts at the major health insurance companies, the lab companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the consulting companies. So we've had people go to all of those places, and I wouldn't say that there's one that's preference. We did a great partnership last quarter with Matter, where we solicited project ideas from startups, and we had 8 companies come forward, and so a lot of students have gone to work with those startups, not necessarily because they want to do a startup, but the ideas were just so cool, and I think there was a lot of opportunity to do something fun and meaningful that we had students go and work on those startups. We do have students who work at the university and other hospital systems around the city as well, doing a variety of different kinds of projects that might have clinical implications. So we've had students work at Northwestern, at Lori, at Children's, at North Shore, so really across the board. We try to have projects available in each of those areas, so sometimes the students just pick projects that have been proposed by organizations. As far as the Healthcare Innovation and Entrepreneurship class, it was very popular. I'd say of the 50 students, somewhere between 10 and 20 have taken that class.
So are these classes also available for grad school for continuing students at this?
So the question was, are classes available for continuing education or alumnus, people who don't want to join the degree program but are interested in taking the classes? Yes, we have a number of students who take the classes from different divisions and schools, but then we also have a number of students from the Graduate Student at Large program. So the Graduate Student at Large program is the program that you register with at the university if you just want to take a few graduate classes and you don't want to apply to a degree program. There's 2 different tracks within Graduate Student at Large. So you can take classes as a graduate student at large and get credit and a grade and a transcript, which, especially if you're thinking about applying to a graduate program in the future, is useful. There's also the returning scholars track that you can apply to if you just want to take the class and you're not interested in getting a grade or a transcript. Those are for people who already have advanced degrees and really just want to come back and take the class. So absolutely, we have a number of people who take our classes. Maybe they just want to learn about biomedical informatics, or sometimes they take a specific sequence. So there's a certain skill set that they're looking to get. So maybe they'll take the intro to bioinformatics and advanced bioinformatics because they really want to learn everything about genomic analysis. And then another thing that I didn't mention, but that we launched this past year, was that Dr. Volchenbaum and I developed an online certificate program that's completely online. And it is offered in partnership with a company called Get Smarter. And it's a 10-week course, and it's sort of a very high-level overview of everything that we cover in the master's degree. with 1-week modules on sort of a lot of the key topics that I talked about tonight. So if you're thinking maybe informatics is for me, I'm not sure, or you're considering either shifting in that direction or a career transition, that online certificate is a great way to sort of learn a lot, get involved, be in an online community. It's kind of self-paced. I mean, you have to do the work each week, but you can pick during the week when to do it. A lot of the content is asynchronous. So that's another option. It's on the Grimm School website. If you look under certificate programs, you'll see it's called Healthcare Informatics Certificate. But also, we would be happy to send you information if you want to give us your email address. Okay, well, if you think of things in the meantime, feel free to send us emails. We're happy to respond. I'm happy to set up one-on-one conversations with people. I do it all the time. Talk to people about their background, their interests, and figure out whether or not this program is a good fit for you. Okay, thanks, everyone. Thanks, everybody on Facebook.